One thing about financial mutants out there is that we absolutely love tracking our progress. So today we are going to give you 7 cash flow milestones to aim for and also to celebrate. And I am so incredibly excited about this because when it comes to net worth milestones, it can take a long time to progress. Waiting to hit huge portfolio numbers or retirement account balances can feel like it takes an absolute eternity. But today, cash flow milestones can happen that much more quickly because you actually have direct control over them. We want to help you celebrate these specific behavioral wins on your personal journey to financial independence. The cash flow milestones that we are covering today are really focused entirely on your daily habits. They happen because of what you are actually doing with your money, day in and day out, regardless of market factors. Some of them may seem very simple and easy at first glance, and some of them might be a little bit harder to hit. But I think that when you track and hit these specific markers, it gives you incredible staying power. Let us be completely clear, even the small milestones that might seem insignificant have huge impacts on your success. Do not overlook any of these steps because we built them in a specific order so they build upon themselves. Let us jump right in with the very first cash flow milestone, which is simply becoming cash flow positive. This seems so basic, and yet a massive percentage of the population has a hard time ever getting here. This is the specific place where you are at a true net zero or better from month to month. It means you are finally living within your means and no longer relying on debt to survive. The first true ingredient to building sustainable wealth is having the discipline to live on less than you make. When you create that critical margin and give those dollars enough time, magical things start to happen. When you can get into a net positive position, it completely flips the financial script into wealth building. At this point, when you defer some of your cash flow into the future, you stop moving backwards. You are actively moving forward in your financial journey, and that alone is a massive win. Right now, we are living in a world with crazy geopolitical stuff and weird economic pressure everywhere. You cannot control the cost of housing or the broader inflation metrics, but you can control your discipline. You have absolute control over figuring out how to build a gap between your income and your expenses. So what are the practical steps you need to take to finally get your cash flow above zero? It might require you to make some big structural changes or even do something a bit drastic. If you want financial results you have never had, you must be willing to do things you have never done. That might mean moving to a cheaper place, selling an expensive car, or looking for a higher-paying job. It may require a significant behavioral pivot to completely alter your current financial reality. If you have credit card debt, you need to realize you might not be a credit card person right now. Using credit cards for the rewards is totally fine if you pay them off. But carrying a balance ruins you. If you are like half of the population holding high-interest debt, you need to stop using those cards immediately. If your current career path simply does not provide enough income, it might be time to switch industries. If you are sitting between jobs waiting for the perfect role, maybe you need to widen your net right now. Just getting an income flowing allows you to establish that baseline positive cash flow momentum. You can also leverage community resources like public transportation instead of taking on a massive car loan. Using the local library instead of constantly buying books and subscriptions adds up fast. These tiny daily decisions create the initial margin that allows you to move to the second major milestone. Milestone number 2 is the moment you cross the threshold of saving $100 every single month. I know that sounds incredibly small to some people, but if you have never done it, it is a massive milestone. This is a magical psychological turning point for anyone building an automated savings habit. Think about the classic wealth-building math that shows how a single $100 bill transforms over time. Even if you are working a basic entry-level job, saving $100 a month is completely achievable. You achieve this by intentionally auditing your fixed expenses and cutting out the completely useless stuff. Call up your service providers and negotiate your phone bills, your insurance policies, and your utilities. Eliminate the streaming subscriptions you have not opened in 6 months to free up instant cash flow. There are always 2 primary levers you can pull to create margin-lowering expenses or increasing income. You absolutely must eliminate high-interest debt because banks are making an absolute fortune off your inertia. If you are paying over 20% interest on a balance, you are actively suffocating your future wealth. Adjusting your behaviors means changing how often you eat out or shifting where you shop for groceries. Buying items in bulk and planning your meals can easily save you $100 a month. There is also an immense amount of personal power that comes from simply tracking your expenses daily. When you actually see where every single dollar goes, it gives you immense clarity and confidence. Visualizing your cash flow helps you internalize your habits and highlights exactly what you can control. Using a dedicated personal finance app to aggregate your accounts and investments makes this seamless. Seeing a visual representation of your income flowing into different spending categories changes your perspective. Once you are consistently tracking, you can easily lock in that $100 a month savings habit. Let us look at what saving just $100 a month actually does for you over a working career. If you save $100 a month for 10 years, you will have put away $12,000 in principal. But if you invest that money and earn an average 8% return, if you keep that exact same habit alive for 30 years, your $36,000 turns into $150,000. And if you stay consistent across a 40-year working horizon, you will have personally saved $48,000. But your total investment pot will have compounded into a massive $350,000. That means 86% of your total wealth was created by your dollars working for you, not your labor. That is the core lesson that so many people miss when they first start their investing journey. If you quit in the first 10 years, you completely lose the plot because compounding takes time to accelerate. The real magic happens between years 20, 30, and 40 as the growth curve goes vertical. You must start early, stay consistent through market volatility, and you will be heavily rewarded. This naturally leads us directly into our third major cash flow milestone, which focuses on tax-free growth. Once you have established your baseline savings, the next target is maxing out your personal Roth IRA. When you can fully fund a Roth IRA to the absolute maximum annual limit, that is a massive achievement. Hitting that target requires a consistent monthly allocation of hundreds of dollars depending on the current limits. The great thing is the tax code gives you until tax day of the following year to fully fund it. We get incredibly excited about the Roth IRA structure because of the unparalleled tax advantages it offers. First of all, you get to pick the exact financial institution you want to use for the account. You can choose low-cost providers that give you access to index funds with virtually zero fees. When you put your post-tax dollars into a Roth IRA, that money grows completely tax-free forever. You do not pay a single penny in capital gains taxes as the investments compound over the decades. And when you finally pull that money out in retirement, every single dollar comes to you completely tax-free. You pay the tax on the seed today, so you never have to pay a single cent of tax on the massive harvest later. Because you control the account, you have the entire universe of stocks and funds to choose from. Maxing this out means you have officially graduated to a sophisticated level of wealth accumulation. Every single time you max out a specific account type, you need to pause and celebrate that structural win. It proves to your subconscious mind that you are moving in the right direction and gaining serious speed. As you continue to optimize your cash flow, you will eventually find yourself approaching milestone number 4. Milestone number 4 is the point where you are saving $1,000 every single month. Crossing into the 1, club of monthly savings feels completely different from anything else. The typical person struggles with basic financial discipline, and a huge percentage of people cannot handle an emergency. So for you to systematically save $1,000 every single month places you in an elite tier. It is an incredible achievement that warrants a special celebration with your family or your partner. Take a moment to acknowledge the hard work it took to restructure your life to allow for that level of margin. When you are saving $1,000 a month, you are maximizing your wealth-building machinery. At this level of cash flow, you are likely maxing out both your Roth IRA and a health savings account. Combining those two vehicles absorbs roughly $1,000 a month of your available cash flow. Doing that means you are fully utilizing the best tax-advantaged accounts available in the entire country. If you look at the median household income, saving $1,000 a month represents a significant savings rate. It immediately pushes your personal savings metrics into the double digits, which triggers exponential growth. When you couple your personal savings with a standard employer match, you cross the 20% mark. Incredible wealth creation happens effortlessly once your total investment rate breaks past that 20% threshold. Let us look at the math behind saving $1,000 a month to see the true long-term impact. If you save $1,000 a month for 10 years, your portfolio grows to over $184,000. If you extend that exact same habit over a 40-year career, you will have put away $480,000. But that portfolio will have compounded into an absolute mountain of cash totaling over $3.5 million. You are talking about achieving automatic multimillionaire status just by automating that monthly cash flow target. Once you hit this specific milestone, your financial future completely shifts into hyperdrive. That is why hitting a multiple like $1,000 a month is such a massive milestone to track. Now let us pivot to a milestone that looks at the balance between your past and your future. Milestone number 5 happens when your monthly savings rate officially exceeds your total monthly debt payments. This is a profound psychological milestone that completely changes how you view your cash flow. It means you are finally deploying more money toward your future self than you are paying for your past choices. Think about the absolute burden of carrying massive consumer debt car loans and student loans every month. The typical citizen carries significant monthly obligations tied up in standard debt service platforms. If you can reach the point where your wealth-building army of dollars is larger than your debt service, you win. Now, this specific milestone is highly subjective depending on your unique starting point. If you graduated college with zero debt, you might hit this milestone almost immediately in your 20s. But if you are managing student loans, a mortgage, and car payments, it might take you a few years to cross over. That is completely fine, because the moment you cross that line, the momentum shifts entirely in your favor. As old debts naturally fall off, your cash flow expands rapidly, allowing you to supercharge your investments. You stop paying interest to the banks and start earning interest from the global economy. This creates the perfect bridge to milestone number 6, which is maxing out your employer-sponsored retirement plan. Consistently maxing out a workplace plan, like a 401k, is a monumental milestone. The annual contribution limits on these plans are substantial, requiring you to save thousands a month. To hit the absolute maximum, you have to dedicate a significant portion of your income to the plan. Unlike an IRA, you cannot look backward and fund this plan after the calendar year ends. You must be completely systematic with your paycheck deferrals from January all the way through December. If you are over the age of 50, the tax code even allows for significant catch-up contributions. This allows you to shove even more capital into these tax-sheltered accounts as you near retirement. We absolutely love workplace retirement plans because they provide an immediate front-end tax benefit. You can choose traditional pre-tax contributions to lower your current adjusted gross income and save on taxes today. Or if your employer offers a Roth option, you can choose to build a massive tax-free bucket for the future. While your money sits inside the workplace retirement account, it compounds completely deferred from ongoing taxation. But the absolute best feature of a workplace plan is the addition of free money from your employer. The vast majority of companies offer a corporate match or a safe harbor contribution to incentivize you. They are literally handing you free capital just for showing up and taking care of your own future. The data clearly shows that automated workplace plans are the primary vehicle for self-made millionaires. The first account that typically hits the 2 club for everyday investors is the workplace retirement plan. The forced automation protects you from your own worst impulses and keeps you buying every single month. Whether the market is rocketing to all-time highs or getting its teeth kicked in, you are buying shares. Once you max out that workplace account, you naturally progress to our 7th and final cash flow milestone. Milestone number 7 is the ultimate financial benchmark, saving 25% of your gross income. Hitting a 25% savings and investment rate is the hallmark of a true financial mutant. A lot of mainstream financial media outlets tell you that saving 10% is completely fine. But we push for 25% because we understand the reality of modern career timelines. Most everyday investors do not discover the power of financial discipline the exact year they turn 21. Many people only start seriously looking at their finances once they enter their 30s. If you miss out on the compounding power of your 20s, you have to do a little bit of extra heavy lifting. Saving 25% allows you to rapidly make up for lost time and build a massive capital base. It also provides you with immense structural flexibility because life is never a perfectly straight line. Your career will have natural fits and starts, unexpected expenses, and changing family dynamics. The earlier you can lock in a 25% savings rate, the more freedom you give yourself. It allows you to adjust to unforeseen medical issues, structural economic shifts, or career transitions. More importantly, it gives you the absolute power to choose how you want to spend your time. You can transition away from things you are forced to do and focus entirely on what you love to do. We have done the extensive mathematical homework to show exactly how your savings rate impacts your timeline. Knowing your current age and your target retirement age tells us exactly what your personal percentage needs to be. When you successfully cross the 25% savings threshold, you enter the hyperaccumulation phase. This opens up the freedom to deploy your excess dollars into lifestyle goals completely guilt-free. You can fund your children's education, upgrade your primary residence, or take amazing vacations. Because you check the primary wealth-building boxes, your remaining cash flow can be spent without stress. The entire point of tracking these cash flow milestones is to help you own your time much sooner. It gives you the tangible tools to manage your personal army of dollars with absolute precision. You start looking at money through the lens of long-term freedom rather than short-term consumption. Use these 7 structural milestones to stay deeply motivated as you move along your financial journey. When your financial life starts growing, it naturally becomes more complex and demands deeper strategy. That is the beauty of building wealth systematically through disciplined daily cash flow choices. Track your progress, celebrate the wins, and stay completely focused on your great, big, beautiful tomorrow.